30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and young guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It's a beautiful day in March because March Madness has begun. And today we are broadcasting live from the beautiful Fordyce Center in Bellevue. We're on the second floor in what is the sports bar area. 9 TVs are going on right now, and a lot of folks are in here enjoying what I call adult spring break and getting their fill of NCAA basketball. Let's get the show on the road. There's Billy. We'll talk to him in just a moment. But first, let's go to the plateau and say hello to Coach Watson Brown. Watson, how are you?
George, I'm doing great. Did you have to show ID to get in as an adult?
You know, I didn't, but maybe next time I'll be ready if that does happen.
Well, you better have your ID with you if it's adult spring break. I'm not sure they'd let you in.
Have you been watching?
I have been watching.
Man.
Saw the first one. I thought West Virginia was going to pull it out, but then Furman, I'm telling you, I think it's hard, George, to play that Virginia style and make it through the tournament because every game is so tight.
Yeah.
And you're just going to lose some of them. And man, did they blow it. I mean, what a pass on to run the clock out there at the end of the game.
It was absolutely crazy. With that in mind.
Congratulations, Furman.
Oh, absolutely. The Paladins scored the first upset of the tournament as a 13 seed. For all of the details, let's get our first March Madness scoreboard update. That is Billy Derrick.
Yeah, George, we start with Maryland and West Virginia down in Birmingham. First game of the day. Maryland got it done. Tight one, close, but Maryland gets it done 67-65, so they move on to face Alabama in Birmingham on Saturday. The Paladins, they beat Virginia 68-67. We got 2 games going on right now.
Hold on, let's stop there.
Stop there.
That's a 4 losing to a 13.
Yep.
That's called a bracket buster.
Yeah, early on for a lot of people.
Man.
Utah State and Missouri are going at it right now. They're tied at 39, about midway through that second half. So that'll be another tight one all the way throughout. Kansas has pulled away from Howard a little bit. That was a tight one there early in the first half, but Kansas leads at the half 50-37 without Bill Self.
Yeah, that's maybe a surprise to some folks. I don't know. I don't want to try to play doctor here and really do a lot of interpreting, but hopefully he will be well soon. In Kansas, if they advance, and it looks like they're going to, hopefully Bill Self will be back.
Yeah, and he was discharged from the hospital Sunday night. He said he was excited to rejoin the team this week, so hopefully he gets that opportunity, and maybe they're just simply taking a game off against Howard. We'll see where that Bill Self situation goes. George, the Preds are in town tonight against the Blackhawks, 7 o'clock puck drop, and then they've got Winnipeg on Saturday. A couple of huge games for the Preds. They need to win these to keep their playoff hopes alive.
This just in, I'll be there, 304 row 1. And you know what? More and more, Watson Brown looks like he's going to be able to give us an I told you so, Watson. Kudos to you.
Well, it's not there yet, but they're in the hunt. And Billy backed me on that, by the way. I don't want you to forget that.
Yeah, no, you called it, Watson.
Billy backed it when I said that. He didn't book it, but he backed it.
We were never questioning that you said it. Now we were questioning your intelligence.
Yes, but you've done that many times before. So
right. I mean, it's not just the Pred story, but
no, that's not just, matter of fact, I think that's what you said that day. No, I'm not just talking about the Pred still.
You know, the thing that amazes me, if you had told me 2 weeks ago, the game on what is this is this the 16th?
16th, yep.
If you told me that they would have a home game that really mattered on the 16th, I would have said you're crazy. But that's exactly what's going on. If they get this one tonight and they were to get Winnipeg on Saturday, everybody better look out, because suddenly they would become the favorite to get the 8th and final playoff spot. That's, for the moment, what it's down to.
Is it really as simple as these are must-win games, or do they have a path even if they don't win?
There's a path.
The
There's
path-
still a lot of games left.
Yeah, the path, Watson, it seems to me, has to include a win Saturday. Whether they get tonight or not, they have to get Saturday.
Yeah, I would say you're probably right there. The one they got to get Saturday. And if they get that one, now they're going to be in the hunt the rest of the way, unless they just completely fold. But Saturday's game is just unbelievably big, because it's, quote, a 4-point swing, George, in essence.
Yeah, it's huge. Anyway, it's good to see so many people in here enjoying March Madness. Let's go with the rest of the update, and you take it wherever you're going to.
Another college basketball piece, George, is Rick Pitino. And we talked about him yesterday with Taylor Barnett, actually, and I'm sure we will today with the College Basketball Insiders. But he had a comment yesterday. He said he'd like to coach another 10 years. He said, well, I'm physically fit and mentally, I think I still have it. But my wife always says, if you want to make God laugh, make a plan. I think you just take it 1 year at a time. Now, my desire would be to coach that long. So he said he wants to maybe coach for the next 10 years, but we know that may not be as easy as he might think. But I think that's an interesting quote from him, because we were talking a lot about it yesterday.
Yeah, I think there are 3 schools right now that are really taking a serious look at him: Notre Dame, Georgetown, St. John's. Watson, I don't know which of the 3 is going to land him, but I'm convinced one of them is.
I got a feeling it's going to be New York, just to get back in the city. That's what I think. I think he's going to go to St. John's. Now, the one negative to St. John's for him, they've probably got the worst facilities of everybody, and there's probably work to do there. But the history of that place and New York, George, that would lean him that way.
I think you're right. He's going to have some decisions to make, and I don't know that Iona can really counter. When they hired him, probably getting 2 years was about what they expected, and probably knew that something was going to happen.
We had a really interesting baseball piece last night. Edwin Diaz suffered a right knee injury last night while celebrating Puerto Rico's win over the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic. He tore his patellar tendon and is out for the season. So tough, brutal news for the Mets. Their closer, their star closer, is out for the season after injuring his patellar tendon after celebrating the World Baseball Classic. So not good news for the Mets fans, but maybe good news for Terry McCormick, a big Yankees fan.
Oh, gosh. Look, nobody wants to see that happen. I'll tell you what I think's coming out of this injury. I don't think major league teams are ever going to let their players participate in this again. This is what they have all feared. And, you could say, well, it was during a celebration. It really had nothing to do with the game action. It was a freak injury. But the fact of the matter is, teams aren't going to let this happen.
No.
I think this World Baseball Classic, for all intents and purposes, died last night, even though nobody's saying that.
And you felt terrible because he won it for his country against the favorite to win the Classic, Puerto Rico over Dominican Republic. So that's what made it really tough to see for a lot of baseball fans, especially Mets fans. So Edwin Diaz out for the season, and we'll see how that impacts the Mets and their closer situation.
Now, we're going to do something here. I'm going to get out of the picture, which is always a good thing, and let Kristen Bonus, who is the hockey director out here at the Ford Ice Center, take over. So if you'll turn my mic off for a minute.
Gotcha.
Just yap. And
I gotcha, George. We got Kristen Bonus coming in here, the hockey director here at the Ford Ice Center. As the director and producer, I'm going to stay here. We'll go to the break after this. But Kristen, thank you so much for joining us. You're the hockey director here at the Ford Ice Center. Of course, you guys are under the Preds umbrella. So you guys are basically, Preds employees as well, always at Bridgestone Arena as well. So I guess what's it been like seeing this place grow? I mean, we've seen it grow already. but from a director point of view, what's it been like kind of seeing this place grow in the city of Nashville?
It's been awesome, to be honest with you. I kind of have a bit of a backstory with that because I was actually with the Tampa Bay Lightning before coming here. And I came to Fordyce to compete in a couple different tournaments. I was a coach for a team over there and a couple girls teams. So it's cool to see what was in Antioch and now obviously what's in Bellevue. I mean, I came here as a Lightning employee just in awe, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish we could have this in Tampa. So, that's a hockey city. This is a really big hockey city. And again, it's just cool to see the growth. We cannot we don't have enough ice time, and so we're just like bursting from the seams, and I hope we can continue to build on our hockey community.
Everybody I talk to talks about how it has affected the game of hockey, not just the Predators organization, but the game of hockey, youth hockey in Nashville. I mean, you look back, I'm sure George would agree, 15, 20 years ago, it might have been non-existent, but now you have a place like this to support families and players and young players, give them these opportunities. So talk about how it has grown the game of hockey in Nashville.
Yeah, it's just something like creating that sense of community, you know what I mean? And just building on that and creating our own little hockey bubble here, it's huge. And we obviously work really well with other communities as well, like with Centennial and over in Huntsville too. So whatever we can do to grow the game, we're going to do it, whether it's, an adult try it for free or just different public skate sessions. Whatever we can do to make this environment comfortable and easy to get on the ice is what we're going to do.
Obviously, you think about the Preds, you think about men, but women are also involved in hockey at a high level as well. You said you coached. I'm sure you played as well. So talk about how that has impacted women and girls who may not have ever thought they'd be interested in hockey, but you got a place like this to be able to train and grow your game. So talk about how it has helped women and also young girls who are interested in hockey.
It's just creating those opportunities, and again, just making it comfortable, making it exciting, making it fun. When we're out there and the music is playing and there's other girls that are just in the same position, just makes it more accommodating for everybody and just like a good environment that people want to come to and they look forward to getting to the ice.
If anyone's interested about the Fordyce Center and growing their game, developing their game, what do they have to know about this place? If they want to get involved, if they want to join a camp in the summer, if they want to join a team, if they want to do training, how do they get involved and where do they go to sort of start that process?
Everything's on our website, Fordicecenter.com. We keep it nice and easy. And also there's a link from the Nashville Predators site as well. All of our information's on there, our schedule's on there, registration. But I would say just come out here too. Obviously this is a great spot here in Draft Picks. It's fun. It's a great environment, and it's just kind of fun to especially be here for home Preds games, to watch. And we have the input, the sound, and the energy team comes out. So it's just fun. We got to keep it fun.
Kristen, thank you so much for taking the time. I know we wish we could have got George in here, but I'm glad we were able to get you on. Real quick, do the Preds get in? You think the Preds get in?
They're getting in. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it. There you heard it from Kristen. The Preds are getting in the playoffs. Big game, of course, tonight against the Blackhawks, and they got the Winnipeg Jets on Saturday. Kristen, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem.
That's Kristen Bonus, the hockey director here at the Fordyce Center. Coming up, we got Terry McCormick, a little bit of Titans talk here on the George Plaster Show. Stay tuned.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685. There are 45 million Americans betting on March Madness. Isn't that amazing? Well, the way to do it is through Action 24/7. And now I have a promo code, George. And with that, if you use that, you'll get a 300% deposit match up to $20 on your first deposit. Action 24/7 is Tennessee's only locally owned and operated sports book. And there's a reason that I bring that up. They're your neighbors. They are friends who live in Tennessee. They want to be good neighbors. So when you have a question or a dispute over a bet, you just simply call them. They're going to get back to you. That's what good neighbors do, and that's why we're backing the folks at 24/7. So download the app or visit action247.com to start your winning. And please bet responsibly. I know it's getting colder. You're not thinking about golf. However, if you're planning an event for next year, let me suggest golf through Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. It's perfect for hosting a corporate or a charitable outing. They've got everything in place to make your event a rousing success. To get more info, call 615-847-5074 or go online to riversidegolflinks.com. In honor of the NCAA men's basketball tournament, the George Plaster Show will hit the road Thursday, March the 16th and Friday, March the 17th at the beautiful Fordyce Center in Bellevue. If you've never been out there, you're in for a treat. On the second floor, they've got a great sports bar with a bunch of televisions, so you'll have a chance to see all the games. We'll see you at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. Well, it's one of the great times of the year as we welcome all of you back. We're at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue, which is beautiful. They've got this great sports bar on the second level where we're watching what's going on. And by the way, we'll have another March Madness scoreboard update for you in about 20 minutes. First up, we're going to talk a little Titans football. With all these things going on, football's getting a lot of attention right now. Terry McCormick from Main Street Media joins us to talk a little bit about Terry. I'm sure you had Furman beating Virginia, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely, George. You always go for the little guy.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a minute. So let's get into a little bit of truth here. Terry, what is the Titans' salary cap situation right now, best as you can tell? And I know it's fluid with all these moves, but people want to know that. Where are they right now?
Well, they're really in pretty good shape, even with signing a handful of guys, because they made the Bud Dupree release official earlier this morning. And so that netted them about $9 million more in cap money that they can spend. So that should put them somewhere, all the particulars of the players that they have signed, those numbers are not in yet, but that should put them in pretty good shape, maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 million or so. I'd have to, see the numbers and get those things crunched in order to give you an official total, but it certainly looks like that the Titans are in pretty good shape cap-wise right now.
So, Terry, kind of give me what you think Rand Carthon's strategy is off of what you've seen so far. I mean, I realize, it's offensive line. That's an obvious. And now with Nick Westbrook-Akine re-signing with the Titans as of a few minutes ago, wide receiver help sure looks like a place. Talk to me about what he's doing.
I think what he's doing is he knows that there are lots and lots of holes on this roster as he entered free agency. And so I think what he's done is go out and try to find some bargains, some players with some upside. You look at a couple of the linemen that he brought in, Andre Dillard, who was a former first-round pick of the Eagles, but had been kind of blocked by the two guys in front of him at the tackle position. He comes in, he's going to get a chance to start, perhaps even at left tackle. They get him on a fairly decent deal. I'd have to see the guaranteed money, but it is around 9.5 to 10 million a year that the total deal is worth. I can't believe that there'll be that much tied up that's going to hamstring the Titans cap wise. And then this guy, Daniel Brunskill, that they brought in from the 49ers, he's a former starter for them at right guard. He probably comes in to do that same thing here with the Titans, but he also has the versatility to play center or tackle. So slowly but surely, they're starting to piece it together. They basically went to some of the better teams in the league, like the 49ers and the Eagles, and they said, your backups are better than our starters. We'll take them.
Does that worry you at all?
In a sense, maybe, but I think, when you look at how poorly that offensive line played in certain areas last year, they had nowhere to go but up. So I do feel like that these guys that they're bringing in are probably an upgrade over what they had. It looks like with the second round tender being placed on Aaron Brewer, which I was a little surprised that it was that high, because I didn't think that the market for him would be quite maybe what the Titans thought it was to tender him at a second round level. Looks like he's going to move to center now with Ben Jones having been released. And really, Brewer at 275, 280 pounds was really too light to be playing left guard anyway, where you're looking for more of a mauler in the 300 to 320 range. So rather than giving up, 40 pounds or so, whatever it was there at left guard, they'll look for somebody to fill that and probably move him to center, where a guy of his stature can probably handle it better.
Terry, since you brought him up, Ben Jones, to me, he's a pro's pro. This is a guy that was a leader. This is a guy that was absolutely a pillar of this football team. Is this for real, or do they want to try to re-sign him?
I don't know if they want to try and re-sign him. The vibe that I get, and I don't have a whole lot other than just speculation to base this on, is that I think the Titans were concerned about the concussion issues that he had last year. He's going to be 34 years old this year. I think they were trying to nudge him toward retirement, and for whatever reason, he was hesitant to do that, so they pulled the plug on it. I think that's that's the feeling that I get for this. That may not be completely accurate, but that's kind of the feeling that I was left with after this whole situation played out. I think, Mike Vrabel makes no bones about it that Ben Jones has been one of his favorite players that he's ever coached, that he exactly what you said, a pro's pro, a guy who does things the right way, is 100% for the team. And I think maybe in some kind of sense, Vrabel was trying to look out for Ben Jones's own good, concerned about the concussion issues that he's had recently.
Terry, let's go to the rumor mill for a minute, and eventually I'll turn this over to Watson as well. Were the Jets going to go after Ryan Tannehill if the Aaron Rodgers stuff had blown up?
I don't know how serious that was or not. I mean, obviously people will say where there's smoke, there's fire, but I think the Jets probably had their heart set on Aaron Rodgers all along, and that was going to be, the guy that they were going to pursue in all this to try and make that big New York type of splash. Tannehill might have been a decent fallback option for them, but that certainly is not going to make the type of splash that going to get a future Hall of Famer like Aaron Rodgers will do in New York once that transaction is completed. I really think, honestly, I think the Titans have probably had the intention of running it back with Ryan Tannehill this year, because obviously, no quarterback from the list of free agents has emerged as somebody that they would want to run after and probably have to pay as much or more than they're paying to Ryan Tannehill. And then picking at number 11, and with only 6 picks in the draft, they don't have enough draft capital to vault up into the top 3 or 4 picks to try and pluck a quarterback out of this draft. So, and then Plus, when you're dealing with two of the teams in your division picking in the top four, being the Texans at 2, Colts at 4, they're not going to trade with you anyway. So I think they've probably known all along that Ryan Tannehill was going to be their guy in 2023, and then they deal with it again after the season.
Okay, so let me try this rumor. It's been out there from time to time that the Titans are shopping Derrick Henry. One reporter says they are. Another comes out and says they absolutely are not. What do you think they're doing?
I think that Rand Carthon, being new on the job, is probably willing to listen to anything. I don't think he's actively shopping Derrick Henry. I think it kind of boils down to, like if you go and look at a new car on the car lot and see what it's worth, then you see the sticker price and you go, my car's just fine. So I think with Derrick Henry, I think the Titans are just fine keeping Derrick Henry and, rolling with him again this year and then reassessing the situation, much the Tannehill status again after this year. So I think that this whole talk is, if you want to blow us away with an offer, we'll listen. But I don't think that they are actively looking to move Derrick Henry off this roster.
Terry McCormick from Main Street Media joining us on the show. Watson, what do you got for him?
Terry, an article I read today, a story I read today was that Kevin Byard's on the same block. And would they be doing the same thing with him they're doing with Derrick Henry, or just flip it out there and see what they might get? And by doing this, what are they really after, do you think, by putting the big names on the table like that?
Yeah, I don't know that I really buy the Byard one a whole lot. I mean, his cap number is high. I think they'd probably like to lower his cap number if they could. But if you look at the prototypical Titan, the Mike Vrabel type of player, the guy that comes in, does everything right, entirely about the team, much like I just mentioned earlier about Ben Jones, that guy is Kevin Byard. I think that, sometimes this is the season of lies, as they call it. A lot of people do. Just anything that is thrown out there, if somebody mentions something, then all of a sudden it becomes the latest rumor. I can't see them moving on from Kevin Byard off of this team because, they've added a couple of pieces here, getting Arden Key and Aziz Al-Shair coming over from the 49ers to replace David Long at inside linebacker. I think they're starting to piece this defense back together, and they're already thin at safety. I can't see them moving on from Kevin Byard at all this year.
Well, we'll watch it and see. I just wonder why we hear the big names. And they had to been just put out there, or there wouldn't be these articles written. And I just wonder if they're not trying to come up with a high draft choice to get a quarterback or something, because in my mind, I think they're going to keep Ryan Tannehill. But I'm not sure, Terry, that it won't be but 1 year. He's got 1 year left, and they got to be in their minds, who's our next guy? Is he in this draft? Do we wait for a free agent? Lamar Jackson, to me, would fit perfect with this team, but that's a lot of money, and they don't have it, to me, to where they could do that unless they shop a big name with it. And I just think with a new GM coming in, the first thing he's got to be thinking, future. And you start with your QB, and Ryan's in his last year. He has been injured recently, and I just wonder if we'll keep him this year, but we've got to find a way to find our next one. And maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen the Titans. Now, it is a new guy, but I hadn't seen the Titans throw their big names around like I have this year. We've heard, of course, we knew Ryan Tannehill be thrown around, but Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, and these are credible writers writing these stories. These aren't junk off the internet. These are credible people. So there's got to be something out there. I'm not saying they're going to get rid of either one, but I wonder if they're not trying to come up with one big one that could set them for that QB for the future.
Well, I think that, 2023, kind of like you said, is really almost a transition year because they're going to have a lot of cap space in 2024. They're going to be able to move on from Ryan Tannehill if they want. And like you said, they're going to have to figure out the quarterback situation. I don't know that Malik Willis is going to be the long-term answer for this team. A lot of that will depend on how he looks going forward with the offseason program and training camp this year. What we saw last year showed that, he's a long, long way from being ready to be a starting quarterback in the league. Same thing with Derrick Henry. Like you said, Watson, he's starting to get to the age where running backs often decline and drop off in productivity. Now, if anybody can keep going beyond what the normal shelf life should be for a running back, it's Derrick Henry because he works out and trains like crazy. He's one of those guys that's going to get the absolute most out of everything his body has to offer. But this is a team that's in transition with a new general manager and going to be in a new stadium in 2 or 3 years. This is a team that is going to have to kind of reset the clock at some point. But I kind of think that given their cap situation and the way the market looks right now, 2023 is going to be a transition year. Maybe you can piece it together to make one more run at a division title, or maybe after 2023, you have a lot of cap space available. You have some veterans who are going to be at the end of their careers. Maybe that's the time that you retool everything.
I wonder, Terry, I'm anxious to watch them because they haven't started yet, in my opinion. They're going to let loose, and they're going to be signing a bunch of people. We've let a lot of defensive linemen go. I thought we've let both starting linebackers go and let Long go for not a lot of money, to be very honest. I mean, he signed with Miami for $5 million. To me, that's not a lot of money, and let him go. We've let Ben Jones, Davis, Lawan go. That's a lot of big pieces from last year's team, Terry. And there are reasons for some of those. I get it. But I'm anxious to see what they're up to because I would have thought they would try to keep this defense together. I thought they had the best depth in the defensive front of anybody in the league. And maybe they think they can let a couple of those go, those backups go, and Bud Dupree, and be okay. I don't know. I can't figure out if they're really just heading in a different direction. Let's see how the year goes, but we're headed in a different direction. Are they truly didn't think some of these were the answers, and we need to piece some more pieces in this and make a run this year? I'm anxious to see, and we're going to know by how they go about it here in the next month.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Watson, to see exactly how they put this together. And the key in all of this, and we haven't even brought this up yet, the key in all of this is getting Jeffrey Simmons extended, getting him a contract extension, making sure that you take care of him and set it up in a way where it's not going to cripple your salary cap. So, I think that's the big move maybe that has to come first before they start addressing all these other things is how are they going to address the Jeffrey Simmons situation. Now they can play through it this year and wait until next offseason before they officially have to address it. But I got to believe that they want to get it done this offseason to get that cap number lower and get it in line and get themselves in position to add all the pieces that they can as soon as possible. Not only for 2023 to put things back together and be able to compete, but in 2024 when you're expected to have a lot of cap space and also a lot of questions to answer at quarterback and perhaps running back and some other spots.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty neat to be a GM coming into this because you can go 1,000 different directions with what he's doing. And to me, he's showing courage because he's not just going with the flow here. He's letting good players go. I think the ones he's brought in, the tackle from the Eagles, the linebacker from the 49ers, the defensive end from the Jags. I think the ones he's bringing in the door are and the guard that we brought, I think they're all good. So he's showing courage to me. I'm encouraged by him sticking his neck out and says, I'm not afraid to go make these moves. The Titans have been pretty good here, but I see things we need to do different. That makes me feel good, to be very honest.
Yeah, I think it's encouraging. And I think that, they've done it all really, Watson, without, having blown a lot of the cap space that they had. So they still got room. They still got enough that they can go make some more moves to help continue to bolster and improve this roster in the areas that need it, like wide receiver, like offensive line, and cornerback.
Yep. One more thing, Terry, that I got. One thing I do think's going on that's got Vrabel all over it. All these injured guys are disappearing. A lot of these injured guys are gone. And Dupree, Lawan, some of the other offensive line. Davis had been hurt some. Jones, Long had been hurt a lot. I think some ways I'm looking at this, and I remember him saying at the end of the year, we got to figure out why we having all these injuries. And I'm not sure that isn't kind of what's going on, and that's coming straight from Mike Vrabel.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's probably the number one reason that David Long is no longer your inside linebacker, is because he had that lingering hamstring issue over the last couple of years. And they went to go get a guy in Aziz Al-Shaair that has a better track record. He had a knee injury that kept him out of some time last year, but overall he has a better track record of being available and being on the field. They're paying him about the same salary that they would have given David Long or that he got in Miami. Yeah. It's a 1-year deal versus 2, but I think you're exactly right, Watson. I think that if there is a question regarding the player's health, I think that they are erring on the side of not re-signing them.
I agree.
Okay, I want to bring both Terry and Watson into this piece of the conversation before we let you go, Terry. I think we're all in agreement that Ryan Tannehill is probably a 1-year deal. I think we're all in agreement right now that whatever smoke the Titans are putting out there about Malik Willis, pay no attention to it until you get some proof that he's considerably better than what we saw at the end of last season. So with that in mind, 2 of the best backup types are now off the board. Case Keenum, Jacoby Brissett. If you were the Titans, would you have thought about bringing one of them in as a 1-year bridge? Because it may take a couple of years before they can get themselves in a position to get the quarterback of the future, a.k.a. the quarterback of a new stadium.
If I were going to do that, George, I would have aimed a little higher than Keenum or Brissett. I would have went ahead and tried to get either Garoppolo or Mayfield if I was going to do that. But then if you do that, then you run the risk of, well, you create that Mariota Tannehill vibe where is this guy the backup or is he coming in to compete to start? If I'm the Titans right now, I probably reach back out to Josh Dobbs at some point this offseason and bring him back in to compete to be your number 2 quarterback. That's probably, I would think, the safest thing that they could do without having to tie up a lot of money in a number 2 quarterback.
Okay, Watson, give me your thoughts there.
I think what they're doing, George, and they didn't go that route because they have got to find out about Malik Willis. They put a 3rd-round deal on him and took him. They got to see if he's going to be the guy or not. So they got to keep him around at least through the summer. I think they bring Dobbs back in to compete with him. And they're going to say by the time the season starts, he can be our guy or we'll let him go. And he's got to prove that to him. I think that's what they're doing. I do think they're hoping and praying that he comes through and he can be the future, and be a McNair or something like that with all his different abilities he has. But they're just begging for him to come through. I don't think he will, and I think they've got the other plan in place of, okay, if he doesn't come through by this summer, where are we going to go? That's why I think they're going to keep Ryan Tannehill this year.
Okay, Terry, I happen to agree with where Watson's going with what he's saying. Doesn't this guarantee that the 3 preseason games are virtually Malik Willis beginning to end?
Yeah, I think that probably is it. It'll be Malik Willis and whoever they sign to be in camp as the 3rd quarterback, whether that's Josh Dobbs or whether that's somebody else off the street that's in free agency or whatever, or somebody maybe that impresses coming out of the USFL or XFL, something like that. But it's going to be a whole lot of Malik Willis trying to get the opportunity to show that he's made strides enough that they could have some confidence in him, not only to potentially be their guy in 2024, but if something were to happen to Ryan Tannehill again, that they would have confidence enough to put him out there and him have some success.
Do you hear anything about Adam Thielen, or is that a pipe dream?
Well, I think they have to add a veteran receiver somewhere to this room. I don't think it stops with re-signing Nick Westbrook-Akine like they did today. I've not heard anything linking the Titans to Adam Thielen, but I think he would be a guy to come in and be a solid possession receiver that they don't really have right now on this roster.
Okay, let me try this before we go. Do you think they draft a quarterback this year?
I wouldn't discount it completely. They've had some meetings that's been reported with Hendon Hooker, which that's kind of interesting when you think about that, because you know that chances are, given the knee injury, he's not going to be available to you probably at the start of the season. So I don't think it's out of the question. I don't think it's going to be in the first round. But again, you know, you're going to really cloud things if you draft another quarterback. And I think if you draft another quarterback, you are essentially saying that you don't have a lot of confidence going forward that Malik Willis is ready to be your guy.
Well, if he takes one look, if he, being Rand Carthon, takes one look at any film footage, how could he?
No, you're exactly right. And if they drafted a quarterback and, you know, somebody like Hooker, then that would set you up to have two young guys there to battle it out in 2024 if and when you move on from Ryan Tannehill after this year. The question would be, you know, how much are you willing to, you know, cast your lot with a young quarterback, you know, both of whom would be very, very green in terms of NFL experience.
Okay, last thing, and Terry, thank you, first of all, on short notice for doing this. What do you believe is the Titans' next move?
I think the Titans' next move probably would be to find a decent receiver, a veteran receiver. The other thing that they might do, they might go out and find another cornerback to play opposite Christian Fulton, because that was kind of a void last year where, due to injuries, it was a revolving door at that other cornerback spot. So wouldn't surprise me to see them add at either spot.
Hey, are you with me that the Edwin Diaz injury last night torpedoes the future of this World Baseball Classic?
It certainly doesn't help. I mean, that's really a rough situation. And, you know, I'm nobody's Mets fan, but you hate that for the guy and for the team that happened. You know, I think, you know, going forward, I do think that teams are going to be very, very hesitant to, you know, put their star players in that World Baseball Classic. Quite frankly, I was shocked at the level of talent on the USA team. I mean, you've got guys like Nolan Arenado, Mike Trout, Goldschmidt. You had Shohei Ohtani playing for Japan. There's certainly a lot of superstars and a lot of money that major league teams have tied up in those games. So it's not a feather in the World Baseball Classic's cap.
No, you got that right. Terry, thank you as always for the visit.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Terry McCormick from Main Street Media giving us the very latest on what's going on with the Titans. This, of course, is day one of the NCAA basketball tournament. After the break, we'll get you a March Madness scoreboard update, and I'll give you this hint. There are two SEC teams playing right now, and it sure looks like the SEC is going 2-0. Stick around.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Jody Jones has as nice a dental facility as you'll find anywhere. Let's go in and take a look. Are you in the market for a new dentist? Maybe you're new to Nashville? Well, the place to go is Jody Jones Dentistry at 55 Music Square East, and their new facility is absolutely state-of-the-art. Jody mixes quality with comfort for the perfect dental experience. He's trusted for his creative design and committed to both the function and aesthetics of your smile. Jody is simply the total package. Don't wait. Make an appointment now at 615-259-5100.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to AlacoFineWoodFloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
There is a little segment of the country trying to put the vibe, the narrative out there that the SEC this year in basketball is overrated. Sometimes I wonder if they're right, but at least as we approach 3 o'clock in Nashville, Tennessee, day one of March Madness is saying not so fast with that thought. Here's Billy with a March Madness scoreboard update.
We start with a couple finals, George. Maryland earlier today beat West Virginia 67-65, and Furman, the Paladins, knock off Virginia, the first upset of the day, 68-67 over the Cavaliers.
That is a 13 beating a 4.
That's what you call a bracket buster.
That is absolutely a bracket buster.
And I said a couple finals. We got 3 finals now to report. Missouri, an SEC team, has beaten Utah State fairly handily, 76-65. Utah State was the favorite there. They were about a 1.5-point favorite over Missouri. Missouri gets that done. Kansas is all over Howard right now, 84-63 late in that one. Alabama is all over Texas A&M Corpus Christi at Legacy Arena down in Birmingham, 39-25, 6 minutes to go in that first half. And College of Charleston could be another upset here, George. They lead San Diego State 15-14 about midway through that first half. So could you imagine Furman and Charleston for a spot to the Sweet 16?
Let me see if I have this right. I had Arizona State, I had Maryland, and I have Missouri.
What do we have here, Watson?
Watson, take your little he's going to fall apart in March Madness. And
what was your point spread in Maryland?
Maryland was the dog.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, by like 1.5 or 2.
Okay. I didn't think they were the dog. West Virginia had the dark uniform on. Maryland had the white uniform on.
One was an 8 and one was the 9, which
West Virginia was the favorite.
The 9 was favored over the 8?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's Vegas basically making their own call in the deal.
Wow.
And so what we've got, go ahead.
Missouri doesn't surprise me at all. I've not been a Utah State fan through all this. Thought they'd been overrated, way overrated. And that came to be true. I thought Nevada shouldn't have even been in the tournament. That came to be true. Alabama should win this one. So everything to me is going. I had 3 pick upsets. I gave you one, but I had 3, and Furman was one of them. Just because Virginia plays the style they do, and I knew it was going to be close. The second one is Charleston right now, and then Drake was my third one. That was my 3 upsets in the first round. So we'll see.
I think all 3 of those could happen.
Huh?
All 3 of those I think could happen, Watson.
Yeah, I know. Those were my 3.
So the games tonight, and by the way, Arkansas will play this afternoon at 3:30 against, to me, an underachieving Illinois. Now, you could maybe call that game the underachievers on both sides because I haven't figured Arkansas out either. But tonight, and I'm reading this right now, Iowa, Auburn in Birmingham. Why Auburn deserved a home court is beyond me. Duke and ORU, Oral Roberts. And I'll admit, I have not
prime
seen,
time.
Yeah, I have not seen Oral Roberts. Most of you haven't either. I keep hearing they're good, but I know Duke's good. Also early, Texas and Colgate. Isn't Colgate also a what do you call it? A toothpaste? Yeah.
Thank you. David's over here helping us out. Toothpaste. Yep.
Thank you for that. Northwestern and Boise State is one of the early nighttime games. The late ones, of course, Houston, Northern Kentucky. Poor Darren Horn. He didn't get a great draw in that thing.
No.
Tennessee, Louisiana, Texas A&M, Penn State, UCLA, and UNC Asheville. The college basketball insiders are going to join us when we start the 3 o'clock. But Watson, I'll admit I am surprised and a little caught off guard by how many people are touting Louisiana.
The kid, their center is a
Brown.
really, really good player. But Tennessee I think will handle that. I think they will handle Louisiana. But you're right. There's been a lot of chatter about that. But I mean, they're what are they? 19 and something. They're near barely 500. So, I mean, they've had a lot of losses to be a team that could knock off Tennessee. I sure don't think that's going to happen. But I do know they got a great player. I listened to Coach Barnes. He said he recruited him hard to Tennessee, didn't get him. So that kid must be really good.
That game is scheduled for 8:40. My guess it'll be more like 9 o'clock Nashville time before it goes off. Billy, for those who are thinking about coming out here tonight, and let me just show you this, and then I'll read it to you. Here are a few of the specials that they've got. By the way, the food here is outstanding. And
quesadillas are my favorite.
I'm not blowing any smoke on this. I don't know that I'd tell you if it sucked, but I can tell you their food is terrific. We met their chef earlier today, and man, he does a great job. So if you're wanting to see all 4 games at one time, the Fordyce Center in Bellevue is your place. Reuben sandwich with kettle chips, $6. $8. Pretty good bargain. Irish cheesecake slice.
That sounds good.
$6. And Jameson Irish cooler, $11. A Jameson orange and OJ with a splash of cranberry. Those are 3 of the specials. Their food is really good. This much I can tell you. If you're a basketball fan, this is a very underrated place to come out and watch the games. And oh, by the way, 2 beautiful full-size hockey rinks, one over here, one back there.
I was going to say, if you're a hockey fan and a basketball fan, this is heaven for you right here. I mean, you can walk over and watch some hockey if you want to, get some food and hang out. There's no better place.
So here's what we're going to do. We'll go stat of the day after the break. Ron Bargatze will join us at 3 o'clock. Lee Fowler will join us at 3:20. They are the college basketball insiders, and this is the George Plaster Show.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? How?
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
This is my buddy and former Nashville Sounds PA announcer Eric Berner. I always laughed in the old days at Greer Stadium when I would walk in, Eric would immediately play my favorite song, Van Halen's Jump. But then I learned he actually has a real job with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors.
Yeah, George, that's what I do. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. Everybody's situation is different, so I use a customized and individualized, personalized approach to the person I'm working with. Old 401ks, retirement planning, insurance planning, inheritance planning. Those are things that people like to get some more information about.
One of the things I find is people don't even know where to start, and that's where you come in.
Yeah, so I can usually help people with an initial phone call or meeting that is a no charge and no obligation.
And I'll bet you have a phone number and a website.
I do, George. They can call me at 615-235-1058 or rockcastlewealth.com or Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Welcome to John English Antique Sports and Cards, located at 204 East Depot Street in beautiful downtown Shelbyville, Tennessee. Their phone number is area code 931-492-4304. John, obviously, I've been blown away by what I've seen at your place. I've now been there 3 times. But for the person who's never been, what should they expect?
Well, we have a 3,000 square foot store, George. Half of it is vintage cards in all sports, and then half of the store is, a lot of people call it the museum, where there's a lot of early equipment and just the history of sports in general, baseball, football, basketball, golf, tennis, and other items.
When somebody comes in there that you know is a big sports fan, what is their normal reaction?
Well, I think that they're pleasantly surprised, and of course, being in Shelbyville, Tennessee, which is a very a small town that you would never expect a shop like we have to be in. So they're kind of, I don't want to say blown away, but as I said, pleasantly surprised.
Welcome back in. Final segment of this first hour. We got a stat of the day to get to before we talk a little hoops with Coach B. Stat of the day is brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville. Give them a call at 931-492-4304, or you can find them out at Shelbyville, 204 East Depot Street. All right, let's see what David's got cooked up for us today for stat of the day. We're going March Madness again. A number 1 seed has won 8 of the last 10 NCAA tournaments. Can you name the only 2 non-number 1 seeds to win in the last 10 NCAA tournaments?
Oh, wow. Watson, we may need Ron Bargatze's assistance with this.
I think absolutely. Get the pro on here.
Coach B, how are you? I think we got him there. Coach B, are you there?
Not hearing Coach B right now, George.
Okay, we may be struggling with that. We'll work on that for a second. Okay. Boy, I am Kentucky certainly was a 1 seed when they won it with Anthony Davis and that crew.
George,
I need help. Are we giving up already? It sure sounds. I don't hear.
That's a tough one.
I can't. Can we even name who's won it in the last 10 years? Can we do that?
That's part of the problem. Is
then
it
maybe
all
we'll come up with a 2 that weren't 1 seeds.
When Virginia beat Texas Tech, they were a 1. North Carolina. When Villanova won it, something tells me they were not a 1 seed when they hit that shot at the buzzer. So, Watson, you want to try Villanova?
I think that one might be. Yeah, let's go
Villanova,
for that.
A winner.
Yeah. And UConn, that's right. UConn was the other one. That's good. Yep. We didn't get it, but we got one of them.
Boy, that UConn team, that's the most forgotten national champion, I think. Weren't they in 11? They were I don't know if they were that high.
Wow.
They were in that 7 to 10 range, I think, in 2014. So that's a tough one, though.
Okay, we start the 3 o'clock hour, and hopefully we're able to bring Coach Ron Bargatze into our microphones. Coach B, are you there?
We're not getting Coach B for some reason, George.
Okay. Well, that's an issue.
That is an issue.
Yeah.
Let me try calling him back.
Okay,
and we'll get him back
we'll work on that. David, if you will, go ahead and give me the scores very quickly while we're in a 4-corner stall. And here's what we've got right now. Missouri, for the first time as a member of the Southeastern Conference, gets an NCAA tournament win. They beat Utah State today 76-65. A bunch of Tiger fans out in Sacramento. That caught a lot of people by surprise. Alabama is on a roll right now to the tune of 48-27. That one is very late in the first half. Charleston leads San Diego State 24-22. That's about 2/3 of the way through the first half. Kansas beat Howard today 96-68. And if you will, scroll down to the 2 early games. Maryland today got a 67-65 win against West Virginia. That was a game where they were down as many as double digits And Furman, as a 13 seed, pulled off the upset and beat Virginia 68-67. A 13 beats a 4. That doesn't happen very often.
I was surprised to see that, George. Furman, I know Watson wasn't because he picked it, but that was a more stunning upset I've seen in a while.
The 13, by the way, I've kept this stat, beats the 4 once out of every 5 games, right at about 20%.
Man.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Coach B with us?
Coach B, you with us? George, I'm not sure why we're not getting Coach B right now.
I heard him there. Try it again. Coach B, you there? Okay. We have a little trouble on that front. We'll continue to work on it. Watson, let me ask you this. Virginia, to me, was not nearly the Virginia that we're used to seeing. And I'll throw up my hands and admit I had never seen Furman play this year. How big an upset really is that?
Well, anytime a 13 beats a 4, George, it's a major upset. I just didn't think Virginia is as good as they've been being. I'd heard Furman is pretty dadgum good from different friends. And the style Virginia plays, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game. That's just the way that they only play one style, period. You never see them run up and down the floor. And so somebody's going to be close to them. And that was one of the ones that I thought. I picked 3, Drake the other one, and I can't even remember. Charleston with San Diego State. So I picked 2 12s and a 13 is my 3 through the weekend.
Well, I'm going with that question because you're right. It's a 4 versus a 13. So in theory, it's a big upset. But what if I told you Vegas's line on that game was Virginia 5.5? That doesn't feel like a 4 in a 13.
Well, but that's what I say. Everybody Virginia plays is close in the tournament. That's just their style. So you're going to be around when you play them, and when you're around, then you got a chance to beat them. They shouldn't have won the game at the end, but Virginia made an awful mistake. First missed a free throw, and then threw an awful pass and one pass up the floor, and the guy shoots a 3 at the buzzer, and that's college basketball in today's world.
Okay, I'm told we now have Coach B by way of actually him being in his car. Coach B, how are you? Okay, he's there, and we know he's there, but at the moment, I don't think he's hearing us.
No, it doesn't look like he's even reacting to us right now.
Yeah. Let's wave at him. It's good stuff. How do we get it where he can hear us?
Well, let's wait until he reacts. That'll be a good indicator of whether or not he can hear us.
Yeah. So, as we kind of stall around here and try to get this worked out, the one tonight that I'm very interested in is this Iowa-Auburn game. Watson, in my heart, I believe Iowa is the better team, but then there's the home court in Birmingham, which I think will be significant.
It could and it couldn't. I thought Billy brought up a good point. All those Alabama fans sitting there are going to be pulling against Auburn.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you. And there's going to be a bunch of them in that gym, in that arena. So it might not be as bad as you think. Auburn, George, just this year, not like their typical selves, struggle scoring. They go and seem like every other game they're going through droughts where they just cannot put it in the bucket. A little bit like Tennessee, to be very honest. So I picked Auburn, but I don't feel good about it. I'll tell you that right now. I think you're right. I don't feel good. I think Iowa's got a great shot at them.
Auburn is one of a lot of teams in college basketball this year where you just never know what you're going to get. I mean, they're pretty consistent defensively. They've got a good defensive team, but you don't ever know if it's going to be KD Johnson or the Williams kid they've got, Broom. It's like one of them will step up and have a good game, but they can't ever put it all together.
They never knew from one game to the next who they were getting what from.
Right. And so in the tournament, that's tough because you could go on that run to the Sweet 16, but you could also lose in that first round. So I know Auburn is in Birmingham, but if you're Iowa, you've got to have a little bit of a chip here saying we're playing a road game. We got screwed.
Oh, you've got to be pissed off. Auburn is a 9 seed, didn't deserve. And look, this is not me trying to be anti-Auburn, but they didn't earn the right at a home court.
No, but for Auburn, this is an opportunity. And boy, are those fans not going to be happy if they don't cash in. They've got the fans behind them, and if they can't cash in, that's going to be even more disappointing now.
So do we want to try Coach B one more time?
Well, I mean, I guess we could try, George.
Yeah. This will be fun.
He's
okay,
there.
He's giving us the thumbs up. Coach B, can you hear us?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, beautiful. So neither you nor I had seen Furman play this year, but we both knew that this was not the Virginia that won a national title. This didn't look like a lockdown defense. So how big an upset was this?
Oh, I would say it's a mild upset, not huge. Furman's really good. You and I talked this morning about them, and they can really shoot the basketball. And I was a little surprised at the play that Virginia player made late in the game.
I was shocked by it. He got trapped in a corner. What I don't know, and I couldn't tell from the broadcast, did he have a timeout he could have used?
I don't know that for sure, but I think he was thought maybe that there was only a couple of seconds left on the clock, and his heave of the ball where he threw it would take up that time. Obviously, he was not right about that.
No, and that's a coaching nightmare because you know full well that in that huddle, Tony Bennett said things like, if you get trapped, I'm assuming they did have a timeout. If you get trapped, burn the timeout and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, I think those late game huddles sometimes may not be what you think they are, but very few really good coaches, unless it's very extreme circumstances, go into the last minute of the game without having one to use.
Okay, I want to throw a couple of other things at you and then turn it to Watson. Why are so many people touting Louisiana as having a shot to beat Tennessee, and yet Tennessee's a double-digit favorite?
Well, if I were a betting man, I would take the points in that game because Louisiana is very athletic. They can score the ball from perimeter. I think it's probably I'd make that line about 3-5.
Wow. Vegas has it at more like about 11.5. I want to get your theory on this. I threw this out yesterday. One of the things that I think goes on in the NCAA tournament is if a really good team gets down early, they are more likely to panic in the NCAA tournament than they are in the regular season because it's one and done and you're gone and nobody's going to remember you. Do you buy that?
That makes sense, really, because everyone, when that ball is tossed to start March Madness, a lot of things change psychologically. So I think you could be right about that. I think that they do kind of freeze up a little bit.
Okay, I lied. This is my last one, and then I'll turn it to Watson. Texas A&M cruised through the SEC this year. Penn State, dangerous team, hung around, and finally found a way to beat Purdue on Sunday. Is this game a litmus test for the strength of the SEC?
Well, I think the SEC is what I would call middle heavy this year. A lot of teams very capable of beating most anyone, but also you take an Alabama who's laid a couple of eggs themselves, but take Kentucky and Vandy and Texas A&M. They've had some real stinker games, and they've got to score the ball here in the tournament if they're going to expect to secure their favorite role in the games.
Watson, what do you got for Coach B?
Ronnie, I think that they didn't have. I'm getting double talk here. Back to me, George. Is there something wrong with Ronnie and I?
I think you're good now, Watson. I think you should be good.
Okay. Ronnie, I don't think they had a timeout left, to be very honest. I think Virginia was out of them. Can't the head coach call the timeout if you're in possession of the ball? And now I've lost Ronnie.
We're not.
I don't think he's going to be able.
You there?
There we go.
If the coach, if he's got an official close to him, I'm not sure about the orientation of the benches, but yes, he can. And man, that one will hurt for a long time for Virginia.
Well, I for some reason don't think he had one. But then I got a question off of that. If you're a fantastic basketball coach in your day, why do they throw the ball in the corners like everybody does? Why wouldn't you move that guy out 5 yards or stay on the boundary over there, but put him more out in the floor and make a move to get open instead of going to the baseline back in that corner? That seems to be the number one steal spot in college basketball, and I don't understand that. And if that's what you're going to do, to me, would you not have somebody, Ronnie, run into the middle of the floor or something where he can catch it and get rid of it immediately? They want to hold it so long in that corner to let that guy covering or the middle guy come over and double team that guy. I just don't understand that, and I don't know enough to understand it. So talk me through that a little bit.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. If you what you want to do is you want to either dribble the ball to the middle where you've got rooms and can't get trapped, or you'll pass it to the middle. Those sidelines and baselines are other defenders in that situation. So it gives you very few options, and it allows the people away from the ball to get in those passing lanes. So you're right. Staying out of those corners. I saw a high school game yesterday where if they had done that very thing, it was always open in the middle, either to dribble there or to pass there. It's like on regular defense, whenever you force the ball to the sideline, the help side defenders know what their role is. If the ball's in the middle, in the lane, that's why you see the dribble drive offenses create a lot of problems because it takes the help side defense away. So when they penetrate, there's no one there to help.
Yeah, and to me, I think you just said it, but the corner takes one of the places you can go who the guy's got the ball away. Matter of fact, there's two really. You can't go to your right and you can't go back out of bounds. So, I mean, it's so much easier to defend him. And if he was 6 yards out in the floor further on that boundary, but further out in the floor, make your move to get open further away. Seems like everybody puts him closer to the boundary down there or the out of bounds and then make a move. And when you catch it, you're kind of caught. I don't get that. And
I'm sure there's not many Tony Bennett teams. When he's coaching the team, they rarely make those kind of mistakes. So they're prepared. But, Watson, you probably told that quarterback what to do, and it didn't really happen the way you told him.
You got that right. Golly, Bub, you have got that right. How many times have I turned and said, did he do what I think he just did? They are kids, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Ronnie, I don't also understand why Virginia would want to play just that one style. And he's been doing it, and he's been successful at it. But you get in these NCAA tournaments, and you're the favorite, at which they are 8 out of 10 games when they're playing. Their games are always close, and then the heat's on you at the end of the game. And God bless Furman, there's no heat on them. They're just playing for having fun and saying, "Can we win this thing?" And I don't understand playing one style, because in the NCAA, what if you get down in that style and you don't have the fast break pieces in you or the speed up pieces in you to play? I just don't understand why they play to that style and that's it.
Well, the Virginia team under Tony Bennett and his dad before him at Washington State and at University of Wisconsin Green Bay, they win a lot of games. They're hard to guard. They've got a lot of backdoor releases that they can run off their offense. But, you know, you've seen teams lose a coach late in the year, and the interim coach comes in, and all of a sudden these guys play like they're freed up, and there's not much pressure on them. And they do things you never saw them do all year long. So there's a lot of mentality changes that go on in a situation like that.
Yeah, I can see that. Last thing I got, George, with Ronnie, Missouri is a team that I thought out of the SEC could make a run. Now, I mean, they're an 8-9, so they're going to catch a 1 next. But I don't know if there's many better than Missouri on offense. And I thought, well, maybe they get in this tournament and they'll pick up their defense and play better on that side. Watching them a little bit today, I thought they did that. But, my gosh, they're really good offensively.
Well, they are. They play with no conscience.
No.
There's no such thing as a bad shot for Missouri. And when they're hot, they're really good, and when they're cold, they're not that good. So they're one of those teams that have a wide range of predictability when they in any game.
And I think they're a dangerous 8-9 for a 1. I'm telling you, I think they're dangerous.
They are.
Coach B, if you will hang with us, we'll try to get Lee Fowler on here in just a moment. I know he's got to join us by phone, but if you have the availability, hang with us.
I'm parked outside of Buffalo Wild Wings, missing a lot of good basketball, but I'm staying with you, George. I'm loyal.
You are loyal to a fault, and I appreciate that. Hey, very quickly, let me talk to you about Action 24/7. There are 45 million of you that are betting on March Madness. Hopefully, you're using Action 24/7. They now have a promo code, George. Yes, I do like that. If you use that promo code, George, you'll get a 300% deposit match up to $20 on your first deposit. Action 24/7 is Tennessee's only locally owned and operated sports book, and I say that for a reason. They live here. They're your neighbors. They want to be a good neighbor. So if you've got a dispute or you got a question, you know what? They'll return your phone call. That's the way they operate. Can't always say that about the big boys. Download the app or visit action247.com to start all that winning, and please bet responsibly.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685. I know it's getting colder. You're not thinking about golf. However, if you're planning an event for next year, let me suggest golf through Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. It's perfect for hosting a corporate or a charitable outing. They've got everything in place to make your event a rousing success. To get more info, call 615-847-5074 or go online to riversidegolflinks.com. The Nashville Predators are having another of their College Night series, and this time it's the Belmont Bruins. Thursday night, April the 6th, 7 p.m. at Bridgestone when the Preds take on
the Carolina Hurricanes. Belmont fans, students, and alums are invited to celebrate. The College Night Series ticket package includes a Predator game ticket and a limited edition co-branded hat. Tickets can be purchased at NashvillePredators.com/college nights. We are broadcasting today from the beautiful Ford Ice Center in Bellevue, where they've got this incredible sports bar up on the second level. They've got 9 televisions, and so if you're thinking about where do I go watch all of the games tonight, let me suggest the Ford Ice Center. The food is terrific. The hospitality is good. It's a very comfortable setting, and we've been treated like kings, and we very much appreciate that from Danny Butler and the entire staff out here. Before we try to bring Lee Fowler up to join Ron Bargatze, let's get you another March Madness scoreboard update.
George, let's rumble through some of the scores from earlier today. Maryland defeats West Virginia in the first game of the day, an 8/9, 67-65. Maryland advances to most likely play Alabama. We'll get to their score a little bit later. Furman, first upset of the tournament. They knock off 4-seeded Virginia, 68-67. We just got into it with Ron and Watson. Great conversation there. So Furman upsets Virginia. Missouri, an SEC team. First win for an SEC team of the day. They beat 10-seeded Utah State, 76-65. Number 1 Kansas beats Howard, 96-68 without Bill Self. So we'll have to see when Bill Self comes back. Alabama, their score at the half, 54-34 over Texas A&M CC, Corpus Christi. And another halftime score, San Diego State leads Charleston by 3, 32-29. That's a really good one to keep an eye on. If Charleston wins that one, they're playing Furman in the second round for a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line.
God. Is that crazy?
That's wild. A lot of people predicted it, though. Watson was one of them. And, George, we got another one going on right now, Princeton and Arizona. A 2:15 matchup. Arizona leads Princeton 11-6 early in that one. Illinois and Arkansas about to tip off as well on TBS. You also got Auburn and Iowa at 5:50 here in a couple hours or so. So there's your scoreboard update.
Okay, let's go back to the college basketball insiders. Let's say hello to a former chairman of the NCAA men's selection tournament committee stuff. I didn't say that right. But
Tournament committee stuff.
Tournament committee stuff. Lee Fowler joins us. Lee, what was it like with all that stuff?
George, we must have an interior issue here.
Yeah, we might. Doesn't sound like we've got him
We're
yet.
connected, and I'm sure he's talking, but we're not hearing him.
Okay, let's bring Coach B back into this. He joins us from a Buffalo Wild Wings near you. Coach B, everybody has written Tennessee off because Duke is in their bracket. Is it that simple?
Oh, I don't think so. I think Tennessee's capable of beating Duke and a lot of other teams because they really play good defensively. They're awfully strong in the paint. I think Tyreek Key is going to have to is the key to the game because he's got to take some pressure off of Vescovy, and Vescovy's got to not just run the team, but he's got to get ready for that spot-up jump shot that he's so good at. So I think they're very capable, and they're a team that has those dry spells on the offensive end, and maybe they won't let that get in the way for them advancing.
Is there a button Rick Barnes can push that you don't think he's pushed yet?
Well, I think he can talk to the greater powers and try to get their point guard back in the game. I think that's the only button there's left to push because with that lineup they've got now, they're going to be vulnerable in certain spots offensively. That's why I think Tyreek Key is big in this game.
Okay, let me go to the Big Blue. Kentucky plays tomorrow against Providence, and we've all kind of thrown up our hands trying to figure Kentucky out. We know the talent's there, maybe a little overrated, but Coach B, is this an underachieving Kentucky, or is this truly who they are?
George, going into the NCAA tournament, you've got to make sure you've got good guard play. Who is the point guard at Kentucky? It's by committee. It's not very consistent, and it makes them vulnerable. You saw it against Vandy twice.
So why would he have allowed himself, he being John Calipari, to get in that position? Because at Kentucky, you're not recruiting, you're selecting.
Yeah, and I think any team needs to be guard heavy if they want to advance. And when I say guard heavy, not only a starting point guard, but a good backup, and maybe a two that can play one sometimes. So I think it makes Kentucky most vulnerable because of that. And those Big East teams all have good guards. I'm not that familiar with Providence, but I guarantee you they got some guys that can run the show.
Well, you know enough about an Ed Cooley kind of team to know they're really physical. They keep the games in the 60s, maybe the low 70s. That much we do know. This is going to be a struggle for Kentucky.
Yeah, no question about it. For them they might win against Providence. They might not get past the second round to the Sweet 16, but I'm saying 50-50 either way.
Okay, you know where I'm going to kind of go with this. I walk out of Bridgestone Arena a week ago after Vandy beat Kentucky, and even I was stunned at the level of stuff that I heard from the Kentucky fans. We want him out. We want him out now. Vandy hadn't beaten us since 2007. They beat us twice in 10 days. These people were furious. He's hearing this stuff. He's not stupid. He knows it's going on. Do you think there's a scenario at the end of the season where he puts his chips on the table and says, I'm available, I'm tired of this?
Well, he won't put any chips on the table, but he'll let his handlers know what the situation is. And he knows that it might be time for him to move on somewhere. It's obvious that he knows how to coach the game, certainly when he recruits at the high level they do. But look at Mannion. He looked like an All-American first-teamer against their guards.
By the way, Vandy and Michigan go at it at Memorial Gym Saturday at 11 in the morning. The way I see it, and I've seen Michigan, 5-6 different times this year, Coach B, Vandy's better than Michigan.
I agree with that. Even with the injuries that have taken the big man away, Vandy played so well down the stretch. They played really hard on defense. They're not giving up offensive rebounds. And Mannion is a big, big matchup problem. And I think one of their biggest problems is gone now. And I've said that all year. You've heard me say it on this show. Is that I despised the shot selection of Stute. And the fact that he's not there, and he did take a lot of bad shots, probably makes their team a little more cohesive.
How about Morehead State beat Clemson, which means if Vandy wins Saturday, they get another home game next week?
Well, don't underestimate Morehead State. They've got a really good coaching staff. One of our good buddies is on that staff that was at Martin Methodist or Tennessee Southwest, whatever they call it now. He was a Dave Luce assistant, and he told me last year, this guy I'm working for can really coach the game. They lose Broom last year to Auburn in the transfer portal, and yet they've really had a nice year.
Watson, if you got a couple of more things, we'll call it a day with Coach B.
Oh, Watson, unmute that mic.
Got it? Okay. Ronnie, the West bracket to me is just wild. It's hard for me to pick one. I mean, Gonzaga's in that. UCLA has been playing good, but lost a very important player that's not going to play in the tournament. And I just can't get past when I watch UConn play. I really like them. They're long, athletic. I can't figure the West out, and it's probably the toughest bracket of the four. Who do you think is going to come out of that thing?
I don't know. I like UConn too. I mean, I think Hurley is a really good coach. They have got a lot of guys who are street smart, know how to play the game, and don't underestimate UCLA. They've been beaten in some years when they weren't supposed to. But Tiger Campbell, their point guard, the big haired kid, played at CPA, transferred out of there, and then ends up at UCLA. And another point guard who takes control and leads his team. And in NCAA tournament basketball, the guards are what you've got to have.
Yeah, they are. And I just and then I keep saying, and of course, George just eats me up, but I keep saying this is easiest on Gonzaga it's been in a while because they're not the front runner. Everybody's kind of forgetting about them a little bit. And they are very good now. They are very good. And I just think they're going to be looser than they've been in probably the last 3 years.
Coach B, pay no attention to this Gonzaga thing. They're a fraud.
George hates Gonzaga. And the fact of the matter is, going into the year, I think Timmy was the probably consensus opinion to be the best player in the country. And along comes Brandon Miller. And I heard Dick Vitale say last night, he says, Brandon Miller, the best player in the country. That's pretty amazing. A guy out of Nashville that had very little reputation, going into his college career, and he's considered by many to be the best player in the country. So I think Timmy and Brandon Miller are going to lead their respective teams, and even the George factor means that Timmy could be the man, and Gonzaga will advance to the Sweet 16.
Oh, and anywhere they advance, I have to listen to it. So in some ways, I'd be better off they just get beat. Then I wouldn't have to hear it but one time. But if they advance, all I do is, they're a fraud. They ain't played nobody yet. They ain't done this. They ain't done that. I mean, that's all I ever hear. It's his favorite go-to of all go-tos. So I'm probably better off if they just go ahead and get beat. He can say, I told you they're a fraud, and get it over with.
Well, again, I'm going to say that road trip when they have to go to Portland and then to the San Diego Toreros, that doesn't exactly prepare you for what they're about to face.
Well, George is a champion of the people, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, champion of something. I'm not sure exactly what, but he is the champion of something. Just ask him.
Fill in the blank. Start with the letter B. Coach B, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
It's always good to be with you guys. Good luck, and let's watch some basketball.
Have fun in the state tournament. Are you doing games?
Yeah, I've got the AA and 4A this weekend, and I was up in Murfreesboro yesterday watching those teams play, and they've got a kid from Memphis East. His name is Curry. Remember him, he's a 6'8 junior, and he's going to be on somebody's NCAA team.
Well, good luck, man. I enjoy listening to you.
All right, Watson. Thank you.
That's Coach Ron Bargatze joining us here on the show. Watson, just to make sure that I give you every opportunity to be right about something you've predicted. When we come back, we will have Plaster Bet of the Day. We'll review all the money I've made all of you. But, Watson, I have 5 plays. I'm going to give you every opportunity to send me packing.
Jeez, 5 plays.
5 plays.
What, are we all picking ones against 16s or something, or what are you doing?
No, these are point spreads, Watson. We've been doing this now for 9 months. Okay, you know what it is.
Well, I know one of them's going to be Tennessee.
Wrong.
Oh, so you're going to go with the point spread on that one, huh?
That game is not on my board.
Okay.
He's better than that.
After the break, we'll check in on our bets, and then get you one last March Madness scoreboard update. From the Fordyce Center in Bellevue, this is the George Plaster Show.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
This is my buddy and former Nashville Sounds PA announcer Eric Berner. I always laughed in the old days at Greer Stadium when I would walk in, Eric would immediately play my favorite song, Van Halen's Jump. But then I learned he actually has a real job with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors.
Yeah, George, that's what I do. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. Everybody's situation is different, so I use a customized and individualized, personalized approach to the person I'm working with. Old 401ks, retirement planning, insurance planning, inheritance planning, those are things that people like to get some more information about.
One of the things I find is people don't even know where to start, and that's where you come in.
Yeah, so I can usually help people with an initial phone call or meeting that is a no charge and no obligation.
And I'll bet you have a phone number and a website.
I do, George. They can call me at 615-235-1058 or rockcastlewealth.com or Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Welcome back in. Final segment on a Thursday. March Madness rolling on in full swing here from Draft Picks Restaurant and Bar. We will hear George's 5 picks for the rest of today. Any picks tomorrow or all just today?
No, actually, there are a couple that are included.
Okay, so
early stuff tomorrow.
You sprinkled in some early stuff tomorrow.
That's why I've got 5 of them.
Okay, so we'll get to that here in a bit. But first, Plaster's Bet of the Day is brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. They are lawyers that you can trust. Give them a call at 615-242-9000 or log on to bartdurham.com. All right, let's check out what happened last night. You had a few plays last night. Mississippi State that was 2 nights ago, actually. Arizona State and Maryland were the 2 plays.
And throw in Missouri as the third.
And Missouri was the third. So Arizona State, Maryland, and Missouri. So are you 141?
Yes.
In 20? Okay, 141 in 27 now.
That's
127.
These next 5 are big. That could put a little bit of dent into that record, George.
I think it'll make for a really fun weekend for Watson.
You sure about 5 picks? That's a lot of picks.
I want to do this for him because he has sort of predicted gloom and doom for me at the tournament, and it's just not going to be that way.
He's just trying to prepare you, make sure you're ready and you're aware of what you're getting yourself into here.
If you'll notice, he's very quiet right now because there's really not much to say. I mean, the record speaks for itself.
Well, don't speak too soon, George.
Well, I don't have to speak because you can brag on yourself with the best of them. So just let you go.
You ready for these, Watson?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to head down to Birmingham for the first one. Auburn, it appears, has the home court advantage, but I think Iowa is the better team. I know they're better shooters. Auburn's probably a little more athletic, but I think in the tournament, the ability to shoot the basketball is really important. I'm going to take Iowa plus the 1 against Auburn. That's the first one. Nobody agrees with me on this. Northwestern's had a terrific year. I've watched Boise. Gosh, I've probably seen them 5 or 6 times. Leon Rice's kid, Max, is their guard, their point guard, and he's really good. I don't know why, because the rest of the country is all over Northwestern. I'm going to go Boise State plus the 1.5 in this game where both teams have a little purple in them.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of purple. Okay.
Boise State doesn't have purple?
Do what?
Boise State doesn't have purple?
It's kind of a bluish purple.
It's blue and orange, for God's sakes.
Okay.
Learn the colors of the teams, man.
I'm sorry you're so bothered by this. You
Gee,
have got me
cricket.
so crotchety.
Boise State, you've watched them a bunch if you think Boise State wears purple. Good Lord, say you've seen
Get your
them
colors right,
Are
George.
you colorblind?
Billy, here's the thing. Listen to what he's yelling about. It's gotten down to colors. It's not about whether my predictions are right, because I've been right so much that he can't talk about that anymore.
He's got to pick on something.
I'll take both of the opposites of what you took in the first 2.
Well, that's fine. You just do that.
I'm doing it. I'm just telling you right now. I'll take the opposites of both of them.
Let's go to the third one.
The Commonwealth of Virginia.
Yeah. St. Mary's is the team that's gotten more of the acclaim. VCU is way more athletic. And Gonzaga,
they're going to trap the crap out of them.
They are going to full court press the daylights out of St. Mary's. And if they don't handle it better than they did in that West Coast Conference tournament, VCU is going to beat them outright. I'm taking VCU plus the 4 tomorrow. And
tonight,
game,
coming up,
well, yeah.
You have this on there. Coming up at 6 o'clock tonight.
Well, no, it's actually a 2-team teaser. You all do not have that correct.
Well, that's teased down to 1.5.
Yes. Duke is teased down to 1.5, and that is with Marquette tomorrow at -6. So that's a 2-team teaser. There it is. And then the final play that we're going to do is I'm going Tom Izzo over Southern Cal. Southern Cal's a little more athletic than Michigan State, But Michigan State's the team that has all the tournament experience. They're there every year. That's got to be worth something. I'm taking Sparty.
Watson's going to fade every pick.
No,
I agree with VCU, and I agree with Michigan State, and I don't know anything about a teaser, so I can't get involved in that one.
Can't speak on the teaser. I don't blame you, Watson.
On the teaser, I don't know enough about it. Can't spell teaser, I don't think.
Man, he's bitter, isn't he?
No, I'm not
Just
bitter.
wait.
I'm just telling you what I think.
You need a Friday off. Come to think of it, you get every Friday off.
Well, I get to go to the home for the weekend, George, and then I come back fresh.
So they serve the meal before the nighttime games.
Yes. I get freshened up for the weekend, and then I come back good for Monday. So
excellent. Hey, Watson, have a good weekend.
Same to you, buddy.
Have a good one, Watson.
Talk to you.
See you, Billy.
See ya.
Okay, have we got one final March Madness update?
Yes, we do.
Do we really?
George, we've got a final March Madness update. And, of course, the finals from today. Maryland beats West Virginia 67-65. Furman upsets Virginia 68-67. So a couple of Virginia schools going down. Missouri, first SEC win of the day. They beat Utah State 76-65. Number 1 seed Kansas over 16 seed Howard 96-68. Alabama all over Texas A&M Corpus Christi right now, 66-48, about halfway through that second half there. So Alabama is going to advance to play Maryland Saturday down in Birmingham. San Diego State is starting to extend their lead over the College of Charleston, 41-34 now. Still got a lot of basketball left, though, only 5 minutes into the second half there. 2-seed Arizona leads 15-seed Princeton.
We got a little coughing there, 27-20. Arizona leads Princeton.
Man,
Arkansas, what's the problem?
The temperature change. I think it's the pollen in the air. I'm
no
coughing.
There's no pollen in here.
I haven't stopped coughing all show. It's ridiculous. Arizona leads by 5 over Princeton, 27-22. In the first half, Arkansas is up on Illinois 12-7 as they are underway there. So there's your scoreboard update. We got Auburn and Iowa. Big slate starting at about 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
5:50, Auburn and Iowa. And then 6:10, Oral Roberts and Duke. 6:25, Texas in action against Colgate. And then 6:35, Boise State, Northwestern. That'll be a fun window right there with the primetime games. And then Tennessee at 9:40, Knoxville time.
Yeah.
You think many of them are going to stay up for that?
Absolutely, they will.
You think they will?
And by the way, that'll never start at 8:40. And
it'll start at 10 o'clock, as Tony said.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because these NCAA commercial breaks are about 3.5 to 4 minutes.
You thought the SEC tournament was long?
Oh my God, this is
even
control.
longer.
Hey, before we get out of here, tomorrow back here at the Ford Ice Center in Bellevue, want to thank their staff, Danny Butler and the entire crew for the hospitality. Make it out tomorrow. If you have not been here before and you enjoy watching the tournament, man, over there, those 9 television screens will let you see everything. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. See you Friday.